Scream, the 1996 slasher film directed by Wes Craven, the same guy who gave us Nightmare on Elm Street, gave us another great horror classic that started a cool franchise and introduces a new horror villain, Ghostface. And I like the costume on Ghostface. I like the ghost face mask he wears, like screaming, like jaw dangling down, like he's face smoking or something. That's pretty funny. It's more silly than scary, but I mean, the fact that he's chasing people around trying to kill him is scary. What makes him scary? And the plot centers on this girl, Sydney Prescott, a high school teenager played by Nev Campbell, and she's with this group of friends played by Skeet Ulrich, Rose McGowan, and Matthew Lillard. They're hanging out and watch scary movies together, and uh, Sydney is traumatized by the death of her mother, and she's trying to cope with it as best she can. And Nev Campbell does a good job. This is a breakout role. She pulled it off so well, and the people who play a group of friends all do good. And the sheriff deputy who's trying to solve the Ghostface murders, played by David Arquette. He's like a bumbling guy who's trying his best to do his job, but a bit slow at times. But he's a good character. I like him, and I like Courtney Cox as the arrogant news reporter who's obsessed with reporting a good story, no matter how tragic or terrible it is. She's like an anti-hero, and it's I really love Courtney Cox as Monica on Friends, and it's good to see her play a character who's the exact opposite of Monica. Yeah, she's got some talent. That woman does. She's very pretty too. Yeah, she's the prettiest character on Friends, in my opinion. Pretty actress on Friends. um. Anyway, the the movie is like a satire of the horror genre. It has a lot of meta humor. Like there's one scene I love where the friends are all together together watching a horror film, and Matthew Lillard, Skid Aldrich, and all of them they're talking about the various tropes and cliches in horror films and making fun of them. This movie is not a parody; it's more of a satire. But even though there's some humor, a lot of humor in it and meta humor, it is graphic when the creative kills the villain uses are creative, but they are graphic too. And the when you some of the characters you see die, they just break your heart because you wish that they had lived because they were cool. And I love the opening scene with Drew Barrymore as Cassie, the girl who's like getting ready to watch a movie, and she receives this phone call from this stranger who's like talking. His voice sounds so creepy, and the guy who voices the Ghostface character Roger Johnson or Roger Jackson, however you say his name, he does a good job doing the voice of Ghostface over the phone in this and every other Scream movie he's in. And I love the plot twist with the villain at the end. I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen it. You gotta wait and see. But Drew Barrymore, she's the usual like false protagonist. Like ever since the movie Psycho, horror has used this like false protagonist trope. When you introduce a character at the beginning, you think it's going to be the protagonist, but they die real quick. And she dies after like the first like 10 minutes or so, where she's in the house talking on the phone, and then the guy gets creepy. She hangs up, and then she sees her boyfriend tied up to a chair, dead outside, and then the killer chases her around the house, and their parents come home and find her dead in a very gross, graphic manner. Yeah, there is another horror trope that's not mentioned in this movie when they're making fun of horror tropes. They don't mention how in horror movies like hardly anyone has a gun to defend themselves. They just run around and like knock things over to block the killer from chasing them. I mean, you think a horror movie like set in the South? Well, this isn't set in the South, but you think a horror movie set in the South would have a bunch of people carrying guns because we're about the First Amendment. I'm First Amendment too. I mean Second Amendment. I mean not First Amendment. Um, yeah, I love this movie. It's like a classic. The humor, the dialogue, the chemistry between the actors, the plot twist with the killer at the end, the way the creative gruesome deaths are all handled very well. And Wes Craven directs this very well. And I love the villain. That's it for now. I give this movie 2 thumbs up. And happy 30th anniversary to such a timeless classic. All right, that's my review. If you like it, please hit the like button, subscribe for more. Thank you. God bless you. Bye.